Everyone, and welcome to another FPL video on the channel. In this one we're going to take a look at how we're doing in game week 19. It's still ongoing, but we're going to get into game week 20, have a look at some potential transfers. We've got 2 free transfers to use, and there's some spicy double game weeks coming up this week and in a couple weeks time as well. So we need to look into all that information and then decide what we're going to do with our transfers, and then we're going to show a little team selection and see what we come up with. But for now, let's take a look into game week 19. So this is how we lined up for game week 19. We had Kepa and Cucurella with double game weeks of Man City and Fulham. We had Cancelo versus Chelsea, Shaw versus Bournemouth, Martinelli at Newcastle, De Bruyne at Chelsea, Rashford as my captain against Bournemouth. Andreas, we started him, he had a double game week, Leicester and Chelsea. Then Martial with Bournemouth, Haaland with Chelsea, Nunez with Brentford. The bench was Ward, who played Fulham, Trossard, who had Everton, Trippier against Arsenal, and Bueno versus Aston Villa. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hop onto the FPL site to take a look at how we're doing, check our rank. So let's do that now. So for this particular section, I've moved myself to the bottom right hand side of the corner so you can see my overall points and stuff above. We currently have an overall rank of 688,000, which means we are currently on a red arrow, but we do have 2 players left to play. So we got 48 points this week, and let's take a look at how we did. So I'm going to be looking to my right to see my scores on the doors, and then we can talk about it. So Kepa Arrizabalaga with a 2-pointer, played Man City, didn't expect the clean sheet, he didn't get it. Hopefully he can manage to get a clean sheet against Fulham, and that would also include a clean sheet for Cucurella as well. Double clean sheet would be nice and potentially put our ranking a lot higher. So then we had Luke Shaw, who had an absolutely amazing week. 15-pointer for Luke Shaw, brilliant. He got a goal, got the clean sheet, got bonus as well. What a transfer in he was, absolutely amazing, doing bits for us. On the other hand, we have Cancelo, who was an awful selection. He played 45 minutes. Man City did keep the clean sheet, but he wasn't on long enough to get the point, so that is a massive fail. At 7 million, 7.2 million, we brought him in because we thought he was the stable option in that Man City defence. It's not been the case. He's not getting the game time, and I'm worried that that's going to continue. But I can't take him out really ahead of a double game week because, it's a double game week, isn't it? I could transfer him to maybe a Stones, which a lot of people I've seen online are doing. But for me, I think I might keep Cancelo. Then we moved away from the Haaland captaincy and we went with Rashford, and that actually seemed to work quite nicely. Haaland blanked and got 2 points. However, Rashford got 8 points, scored again. He's just on fire right now, which is why I went with him. He's a man on form for United. He's carrying us, and I think he's just such a great option. And that is why I went with him, and he scored, so happy days. Andreas, we brought him in instead of Trippier. Backfired. Let's have a look at Trippier's score. 8 points, so consistent. Instead we brought in Andreas, who got 1 point in that first game. He does have a second leg or a second game against Chelsea, but to be honest, we're hoping for the clean sheet more than anything. Martinelli blank against Newcastle. It was always a tough fixture, but he gets the additional clean sheet point. De Bruyne against Chelsea, blank again. De Bruyne is starting to annoy me. Similar to Darwin, the stats are there. The expected goal involvement is quite high. He's created a lot of chances and stuff like that. It's just not equating into points. And at his price, that's not good enough. Then we have Martial, who blanked against Bournemouth. Thought he would do all right. Yeah, he didn't get any returns, so that is annoying. And potentially with Weghorst coming in, that could potentially even lower his game time now. So that's a potential issue moving forward. But he does have a double game week right now. I will keep him in because Weghorst I don't think will be available for the games. Then we had Darwin Nunez, who again blanked. He did actually get a yellow card as well, so he only got 1 point. So I think Darwin Nunez could be on the chopping block, to be honest. I can't justify keeping him anymore because he's not getting the returns. Of course, he did get an assist last week, and he is getting a lot of chances, but chances don't equal points. So is it worth keeping him? Maybe for you, but not for me. On the bench, we had Trossard, Trippier, and Bueno. Now, everyone blanked apart from Trippier. Trossard didn't even play, so hopefully that's not an issue moving forward. I think it was a knock he had or something like that, but I could be wrong. Hopefully he's back, and in the team again in the next few fixtures, because they potentially could have a double game week in 21, which is the reason I brought him in instead of Almiron. but that's looking unlikely now as well, I believe. So speaking of double game weeks, let's have a look at some of the latest news. Follow Ben Krellin on Twitter. He's always the one keeping everyone up to date with the double game weeks, the potential fixture switches and stuff like that. He's your man for it, so definitely give him a follow. So Manchester United potentially could have another double game week in game week 22. The fixture of Manchester United and Leeds could be moved into that midweek bank. And we also have a double game week in game week 20, which is Palace and Man City now. So a lot of fixes coming up for Manchester United. Could be prone for rotation, but then again, I think players like Rashford, players like Shaw are probably going to play all of these games, to be honest, so they look alright. But if you own Martial, he probably won't play in all of them, especially if we do get Weghorst in. Expect his minutes to be limited as well, maybe like 60, 70 minutes a game, because of his lack of game sharpness, really. So also here he states that Brighton aren't that likely to double in game week 21 now either, which is not ideal for me who owns Trossard. Also, if you own any Brighton players and you wanted this double game week, it's not ideal. So thank you, Ben Krellin, for that update on the potential double game weeks. Make sure to follow him. He's very, very helpful for all of that information. And let's have a look at what we could do for our team. The team currently is going to be lining up like so. We've got Kepa Arrizabalaga against Palace at home. Then we have Manchester United with the double game week of Manchester City and Palace. Now, of course, Manchester City is not the ideal fixture. Palace is not a bad one at all. However, I think there is something in this game for Manchester United against City. Now, it could be delusion speaking. We did get battered last time, 6-3. However, we're in a much better place right now. We've got Casemiro in the team, who's playing well. Rashford's on form, but it is a big test, and this will, show us is all the hype, warranted. But let's find out anyway. Then we have a Trippier against Fulham, excellent fixture. I probably expect Newcastle to keep a clean sheet there. Trippier will get bonus 20. So Mr. Consistent, I expect more points. Cucurella against Palace. Don't know about Chelsea. He's a potential, withdrawal out of the team, to be honest. Not been that a success unless he keeps a clean sheet against Fulham. Then we'll be happy with him. Then Cancelo double game week, like stated earlier. Man United and Tottenham. Not the two easiest of fixtures at all. And, his game minutes are a risk now as well, which is not ideal. Then we have Rashford, who is currently my captaincy pick of the week. Man City at home. United are going to be counter-attacking against this City side who are going to control most of the ball most likely. This usually pans into Rashford's game. He likes to be quick in behind, and I see Rashford getting something in this game, to be honest. And then Palace as well, the form he's on, you expect him to bag. So Rashford for me is my current captaincy pick. We then have De Bruyne, who's been flopping for us in recent weeks, and at that price we need him to bank. Double game week against Man United and Tottenham. Hopefully he can do something in the Tottenham game, not the United one. Then currently I've got Trossard in there against Liverpool. Now, he bagged a hat-trick against them last time, didn't he? But do I expect that again? Probably not. Is he going to play? There's a doubt over this, but I will make my transfers late on Friday before the deadline, because there's a lot of uncertainty in the air right now. Then up front we've got Martial against Man City and Palace. Decent fixes, like I said. Well, the Palace game is anyway. Man City's a tough game, but he bagged two against them last time. He doesn't mind the big fixes, Martial. Darwin against Brighton right now, but to be honest, I think I'm going to look to move him on. Yeah, we'll see. Then, of course, we've got Haaland, who is going to be the big captaincy option. There's a lot of talk about triple captain on him this week. If you're going to do it, I don't mind that choice. He's going to play both games, isn't he? He's basically nailed on to do that. He's on penalties. He bagged a hat-trick against United last time. Tottenham, not the best of teams right now as well. But for me, I don't think I'm going to go there. I think United are in a much better place than they were when they first played. And Tottenham are going to look to sit back and hold Man City to a small amount of goals. Whether they'll be able to do that, I don't know. If you go against the Haaland captaincy, you're hoping that he blanks, because otherwise you're going to get destroyed in that ranks. So on the bench we have Martinelli against Tottenham. Tough to bench Martinelli, especially the form Arsenal been in, but it's a toss-up between him and Trossard, to be honest. Martinelli might actually come in instead of Trossard. Then we have Andreas versus Newcastle. I expect Newcastle to keep a clean sheet, so I won't go there. Bueno against West Ham. I think there's not a bad chance of a clean sheet here, so he potentially could come into the side, but for now he's on the bench. Then Ward against Forest. Decent fixture, but yeah, he'll be on the bench. So let's have a look at some potential transfers we can do moving forward. So as stated before, we have 1.7 million in the bank, and the main protagonists that we're looking to bring out of the team are Trossard potentially, Cucurella and Cancelo, and then Darwin. So I am very, very interested in Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane is obviously one of the best strikers in the league, and he's on decent form regardless of what you think about Tottenham. Kane is scoring goals still, right? 15 goals is fantastic in 19 games. You know, discredit what Haaland's done because that is just unbelievable. But for Tottenham as well, 15 goals is fantastic from Harry Kane. And he's got 4 assists to add to that as well. My only issue is Harry Kane currently is on 4 yellow cards. So if he gets another yellow card, he will be suspended for a match, which is not ideal. But he's on great form and he has a double game week. Now, Arsenal Manchester City is not ideal. However, after that week, he has Fulham. So a nice little fixture there. Does play Man City again, not ideal. Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea, Wolves. So you can see there that it's a nice little run of fixtures that he goes on after that. So if you do hold on to him, he could be a good option. I think I'm going to look to bring him in this week. The double game week allure is there. He usually does perform against Arsenal. Now, don't get me wrong, Arsenal are in a much stronger place now than Tottenham are, but it's Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in the league. You know, I'm going to look to bring him in. So if we bring in Harry Kane, that means, of course, we're going to need to get some funds from somewhere. So if we took out Trossard, we could look to bring in his teammate, and that is Mitoma. Now, at 4.9 million, it's not a bad little selection, is it? He's starting to get game time now. He's starting to start minutes, and he's been on decent form. Back-to-back goals for him, and he also scored, you know, not too long ago, game weeks before that. He seems to be an exciting little prospect. He's getting game time, scoring goals. He's on form. The form players are the ones you want to get in the team. Of course, you want to look for fixtures as well, but for me, form over fixtures, and that is why he could be a potential option. Trossard has been a bit of a flop for us bringing him in. You know, he's done absolutely nothing since we brought him in after the World Cup wildcard. So I think if we can look to take him out and bring in maybe a Harry Kane, you know, in using the funds, I think that could be a great option. Liverpool is not an ideal first fixture, neither is Leicester really, but then Bournemouth, then they've got Fulham as well. So, and he's going to be a bench player mostly, Mitoma, let's be real. So I think that could be a nice little thing. So what do you think? Those two transfers there of Mitoma and Kane for Trossard and Darwin, I quite like that. That's one potential option. Then the other option is to keep Trossard, maybe downgrade Cancelo to Stones, which a lot of people are doing. For me, I'm not sure. Look, the stats are there, right? He's starting every game in the Premier League at the minute. So he started 6 in a row, which is very tempting, but it's Pep, isn't it? You just don't know anything. So for me, it's a bit of a meh move. I'm not really too bothered with doing that. Then the other one is Cucurella to like a 4 million defender, but again, that limits me. Other option I have looked at is doing Cancelo to Botman. Now, doing that allows me to do Trossard. Well, I would be able to do that anyway, but Trossard to Odegaard. So that's how the team would look. So we'd have Botman in there instead of Cancelo, and then Odegaard in for Trossard, and we'd still have 1.9 million in the bank. It would be a -4 this week, and this is a view to potential future game weeks because Arsenal in 23 do have a double game week. They have Brentford at home and then Man City at home. So that's quite a nice little double game week. They also have Everton there as well. So I think that's a decent little option, but for a hit, is it worth it? I'm not sure. We could just do Botman in for Cancelo in this week and then, you know, not take the hit. Or is it worth just keeping Cancelo and hoping he's going to play both? I probably don't think he is going to play both. I know it's two big teams, but it's Pep, and I'm really not sure if Cancelo's in favour at the moment, which is weird, but yeah. So that's currently what we're looking at. So I could do Botman in and get Kane in, or I could do Mitoma and Kane. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. I am kind of set on getting Harry Kane because of the double game week and the form that he's in. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. if you have enjoyed, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe. Let me know what you're doing for game week 20. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of information coming for future game weeks and stuff. So if I was you, I would hold your transfers until the end of the week. That way you can get as much information in before you make your transfers, and it's always beneficial to do that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you could drop a like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated, and I'll catch you all next time. Cheers, guys.